So I'm trying to feed my turkey to fatten him up, but I think he's stuffed. Hey everybody, so today we're going to be making fall trees using pointillism. We're going to have lots of dots for the leaves, and we're going to have a nice black silhouette for the ground and the trunk. Let's take a look at our supplies. We're going to need something to draw on. As usual, I'm going to be using plain white paper, but you can use whatever you've got on hand. You're going to need something to draw with. We're going to be sketching out with black pencil, but you could also color everything in with marker like I am. You're going to need something to color with, something to make all your dots. I'm going to be using some markers and warm colors, but you could also use crayons, you could use watercolor, you could use pastels, anything you've got on hand. When you get all your supplies together, we can get started. Okay, so our first step is going to be to sketch out a basic tree and some ground. Nothing too fancy. We're just going to kind of put in some uneven ground here, maybe like a hill for the tree to sit on. Maybe we'll just do one hill. And then we're going to start drawing our tree. So we're going to start from the roots. We're going to curve up and make the trunk, just like this. We'll come up the other side, we're going to make the other roots, come up and make the trunk. And we're going to put a fork in it. You can lay out your tree the way you want to. You don't have to do one just like mine. Yours could be unique. I just kind of like having forks at the trunk of my tree. I think it's cool looking. And then once we have the trunk in place, we're going to start adding branches. So we're going to bring this up, and we're going to add a skinnier branch over to the side, bring that along. And after that, we're going to add another branch. We're just going to keep dividing all these branches up to create the shape of a tree. Just branches everywhere. Okay, so once you get the main body of your tree in place, we can start coloring it in and darkening it up to create the silhouette, a nice dark black silhouette tree shape. I'm going to be using a marker, but you could use, your black crayon, you could use pencil, paint, pastel, whatever you have. If you're feeling really industrious, you could do this with pointillism as well, but honestly, I kind of enjoy the nice dark solid black against all the little colorful dots. I think it looks really cool. But it's your choice. So I'm just going to start tracing and outlining all my branches. So we have something to put all of our little pointillism leaves on. Okay, so I've filled in my tree completely with marker, and now I'm going to start adding my pointillism leaves. I'm going to be using some markers, but you are welcome to use your crayons, you could use some pastels, you could use pretty much anything you have. If you have watercolor, that would work fantastically. Anything you've got. I'm going to start with my lightest color, and I'm going to start making dots to create the leaves. It's very easy to do. We're just going to start putting in dots just like this, kind of randomly, in the shape that we want our tree to be. We have all this great skeletal branch structure here, but now we need to build out the areas where the leaves are. We're just going to continue to cover this whole thing all around with yellow leaves. Okay, so now that I'm done with the yellow, I'm going to move to the next color line and use the orange. Now the idea here is that we're just going to layer the dots on top of the yellow to make it a little more interesting and to add extra color. I'm going to try to do this on the undersides of these tufts of leaves to create some sort of like shading effect. Should make it look a little more three-dimensional, a little more interesting. We don't want to completely cover the yellow. You just want to kind of accent it, add a little bit more fall color. So when you're doing this, you want to think about where your light is coming from. For me, I'm thinking my sun's kind of over up here somewhere, shining down this way. So the brightest parts of my tree are going to be on this side up here, and the darkest parts are going to be down this side. So when I'm adding my colors in, I want to leave upper right lighter and get darker as I move to the lower left. Just kind of think of where these clusters of leaves are. Make the lower left side of that area just a little bit darker. Okay, so now that I have my orange in place, last thing I'm going to do is add in my red. We'll do the same thing I did with the orange, a little bit further down, so we have yellow, orange. Then I'm going to come along just at the very edges and add in a bit of red to really kick up that kind of fall motif. Really make it look autumnal. Again, we don't want to cover up the yellow or the orange too much. We just want to accent it. Just a little bit of red. Give it that nice kind of warm, fiery fall color scheme. And here you have a tree made with pointillism. So now that you've seen how I made my tree, I want to see yours. Post a picture in our class art gallery.